Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Overleveled Podcast.
Ooh, we're back, baby.
We are. It's been a
Season 2.
Yeah, Season 2. We did our big top 10, and now we've come off of our high, and now we're back a month later.
Hell yeah.
I was thinking about that because first of all, sorry everyone for such a delay. I've been kind of spending this time in between our last episode just kind of thinking about like how do I want to, like, does there need to be some sort of restructure happen in the way that we do things? Ultimately, I think I've just kind of I don't know, I feel like I've sort of been in this position where I don't want to just put out content for the sake of just having videos out. Like, it's nice to have a good catalog of discussions. But ultimately, I feel like there have definitely been some episodes that we've recorded where I'm like, I'm not really ready to do anything. There hasn't been much in the news. I just want to record an episode for the sake of doing it. And I've kind of been more in the mindset of I would rather spend some time doing a quality episode so that whenever people see that we upload an episode, they can be like, oh, hell yeah, like another episode of Overleveled, and not just kind of like a, it's Wednesday, that's Overleveled day, or, whatever.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and I 100% agree.
Yeah, because I know that's kind of how you do it with your anime podcast as well, right? Like, it's not like scheduled, but whenever y'all do, it's very planned, like in the episodes that y'all do.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, half of that is mainly because we just don't have the time. Like, we've been trying to record our part 3 of JoJo, but our schedule's just been kind of mixed up lately. But yeah, we usually just don't, I guess, try to keep a strict schedule, because my sort of philosophy is that, like, I think when you're starting something, probably just, keep it slow and stuff like that. Yeah. But as you grow and stuff, maybe then you should be like, hey, I probably dedicate more time to it. But that's just me.
Sure, no, I agree. I totally agree to it, especially since other than just doing podcast stuff and other YouTube ventures, we got jobs. We got friends outside of, just us.
And you have a family.
Yeah, we got families and stuff, so, it's just kind of, it's something that we love doing. It's not something that I ever want to put stress like on you for. It's not something I ever want to put stress on myself for. Yeah, this is just something that me and you have decided that we just like doing it. So whenever we can get around to doing it, we do it. So
yeah, absolutely, I agree.
But I have been so overwhelmed with a lot of joy from just
good.
Not overwhelmed like in a stressful sense. I've been very pleased with firstly. Thank you to everyone who will come out to watch my Twitch streams and stuff. That's been really cool. I recently, we can kind of transition it into some stuff that we've been playing, but I played Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice the other day. And first of all, great game. Second of all, thank you everyone who came out. Like, I had a pretty solid, a group of people who came out and watched me play. And nice. I'm actually, since we're also just talking about things that we like to work on and things we like to do, I'm not only just playing Hellblade for the sake of finally getting around to playing that game. Like, I've wanted to play it for a long time. But I do have something planned for the podcast regarding that game in particular. A buddy of mine who I've known for years and years, he's very much on my side of I guess, like, what our motivations are when it comes to I guess just deciding how to spend our time and energy when it comes to long form stories like books and TV shows and movies and video games and stuff. We are very much so like a like, me and him can talk for a long time about, like, author intent and going deep into, like, a lot of that sort of stuff. So we're kind of looking at Hellblade, and it's a fairly short game. Like, I think I'm like halfway done with it, and I've only played it for about 3 hours on stream. but it's a story-driven game. It's very narrative-heavy. And aside from the narrative itself, visually, it is a masterclass of an indie-developed video game, as well as just the gameplay is really solid. Mm-hmm. So I've been having a good time playing that game. But the narrative itself, man, dude, it is deep. It is heavy. We're planning on doing maybe like a 1 or 2 part sort of like dissection of, we'll do like one part sort of history. We'll do like another part kind of, the actual game itself. And a huge aspect of that game is the topic of mental health, which, I think obviously, especially just like in today's sphere of conversation, that's a pretty big one. Yeah. And in this game, the main character, she has schizophrenia. Like throughout the entire game, the game is really meant to be played with headphones. Okay. You hear like in different sides of your ears, like you hear voices talking to you, just saying conflicting things to you throughout the entire game. And it's really, really dark, really emotional, very depressing.
Okay.
But it also, because it it leans heavily on that sort of Norse mythos. Mm-hmm. And it kind of takes place in a time period where if you had schizophrenia, nobody could really diagnose you with that. People just thought you were a witch or something, Mm-hmm. So she's kind of outcast from her, town or whatever because of this. So anyways, I've been playing through Senua's Sacrifice. I'm looking forward to just playing more of it, man. That's kind of other than playing that game. I did check out a game. I'm blanking on the name of it right now. It's called Inscription. Have you heard of this game?
I have not. No.
This is another newer game. It's an indie game that kind of has an RPG tabletop sort of vibe to it, but it is a psychological horror game.
Okay.
And basically, you're playing a game with someone who kidnapped you. And it's very, very disturbing, very creepy, very aesthetically pleasing, not going to lie. I really enjoy just kind of the look and the feel and the sound design of the game. It's one of those games where once you see how it plays, I don't really think that you need to know a whole lot about the game other than just kind of like, I don't know, a very brief synopsis of what you're doing in the game, what the gameplay is like. And then you just look at it, and I think you could very quickly decide whether or not the game is for you or not.
Right.
I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. I've played it for about 2 hours just off stream. That's kind of the one game that I did play recently where I wasn't recording myself playing it. But yeah. That's pretty much it. What about you, man? What have you been playing?
I've mainly just been playing more. I don't know if I talked about this on the last episode, but I've been playing Breath of the Wild still.
Yes. Yeah.
I am pretty close to beating the game because the main thing of that game is you have to beat like the 4. I mean, the whole like cool thing about the game is you can literally just fight Ganon right from the start. But obviously, I'm not going to fucking do that. Yeah. So I've beaten 3 of the 4 divine beasts. So I'm getting close to beating the game, and it's just great. Like. Honestly, I love the open world aspect of this game because there's actually like a lot to do, and you find like a lot of cool things throughout the game.
Yes,
it's great. I'm loving it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm still just so shocked that it's taking you this long to get there.
I know. This is my first Zelda game too.
Yes. Yeah. True that. Yeah, guys. If y'all missed it last week, DJ or not last week, last month, I guess, last episode, DJ had you beat Shadow Hearts. And and so now you're on to Breath of the Wild. Are you doing a lot of the story stuff, or are you just kind of playing around, doing like side dungeons and stuff?
A little bit of both. I mean, I was focused on the story, but every now and then I'd be like, I should explore the world a little bit and stuff. So mainly story, but every now and then I'm just like, I explore less stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Right on, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Have you already decided what the next game is for you?
I think it'll be Final Fantasy 15. I think I need to move on to a Final Fantasy game.
Finally, bro. And then whenever you're done with 15, bro, and you can do all the DLCs and stuff, bro. Yeah. I know you can't see it anymore, but I'm holding up the book. I'm holding up the book right now. We gotta do the Final Fantasy 15 book club.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. So, dude, Final Fantasy 15, solid game, bro. Solid game, worthy of the Final Fantasy mainline series, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Well, okay. Well, cool. Yeah, that's just been some stuff that me and DJ have been doing. Yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into some of the news. First and foremost, since we're already talking about Final Fantasy, might as well go ahead and mention that the Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster just came out.
Oh,
I thought you fell down.
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster. This is one of like the only like 3 or 4 mainline Final Fantasy games that I have not played. I still have not decided if I'm gonna play through the Pixel Remaster or the Game Boy Advance version.
Okay.
I'm leaning towards the Game Boy Advance version strictly because of the extra content.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Because this Pixel Remaster is, all of the Pixel Remasters have literally been upscaled and updated versions of the original games on the consoles that they came out on. So, Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3 don't have any of the extra stuff that came out on any of those later games that came out after their original NES releases.
So dumb.
Yeah, so the Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster is based off the original Super Nintendo cartridge, which, isn't... It's not a bad version of the game.
Right.
The Game Boy Advance version just has, like, a lot more extra jobs and, dungeons and stuff like that. So, yeah. I don't know. Do you think that you'll ever end up picking up any of these Pixel remasters?
Maybe. I think I'll do it for 5 because it has been a very long time since I played that game. So yeah. I might check it out for that one.
Yeah. I've been more on the side of picking up 5 and 6. Basically, the deal with 6, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong about this. If I'm wrong, by the way, since we're doing news stuff, if there's any sort of news stuff that we are that you don't hear that has happened, feel free to let us know. Like, say, hey, y'all forgot to talk about this, and we'll probably talk about it next week or something, if you want to hear us talk about it. But anyways, if I'm wrong about this too with Final Fantasy VI, I'm pretty sure there aren't any versions of Final Fantasy VI that necessarily have like extra content. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure since the original Super Nintendo version came out, I think all of them have pretty much just had different like looks and stuff, and have been put on different systems. But I think all the content is still there. So I would possibly be interested in checking out 6 again through the Pixel Remaster.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, for 5, leaning towards Game Boy Advance. Sweet. That's the one that you played it on, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. Nice. Pretty good review on your end?
From what I can remember, which not a whole lot, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess continuing on the Final Fantasy train, Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker was delayed.
Oh, I did hear about that, yeah.
Yeah. This isn't, this is one of those things where it doesn't necessarily affect me in any way. I mean, I don't want to just say I don't care.
Right.
But I don't really give a shit. But at the same time, I'm sympathetic to those who are waiting, because like for me, like if this was like the next Kingdom Hearts game or something, and like right before the game was released, they're like, hey, 2 more weeks. I'd be very mad. Yeah. But prayers to all of my Final Fantasy 14 homies out there.
Brethren.
Yeah. Last little bit of Final Fantasy news. In 2 more days, Fortnite Final Fantasy Edition is coming out, and they finally gave like the first soldier app. They let out they released the opening cinematic for that game.
Oh.
I don't know if you got a chance to watch it yet. It's like
not at all.
Yeah, it's like 3 minutes long. It is just the CG. It's good quality. It looks like Square Enix produced a CG Final Fantasy thing, but
I believe it.
Ultimately, I think this is just a game that if there is any sort of story significance, I'm just gonna look it up on YouTube.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
And I've heard that there is some story significance, but it's so small. It's barely even significant.
Okay.
So,
cool.
yeah. So, that's pretty much it as far as Final Fantasy stuff goes.
Okay.
There is one thing. I'm curious your opinion on this. I'm assuming you've seen this. Maybe you haven't watched it yet, but we did Sony put out a state of play fairly recently, and a lot of people were pretty disappointed with it for the most part.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. But there was 1 or 2 games on there that really piqued my interest. One of which is Star Ocean: The Divine Force.
Yup.
So I'm assuming you've seen this trailer.
I have seen it. Yes.
Does this tickle your gooch in any fanciful way?
Kind of, sort of, a little bit. I mean, it seems pretty cool, but at the same time, like something about it also seems empty in a way. I don't know, something about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of complaints from people because apparently the previous one for the PS4, which I own, a lot of people said that like that was the worst Star Ocean game they've ever played, and so they're really hoping that this won't be like the revival to the series or something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I mean, it looks fine.
Yeah,
okay, but something about it still sort of like, I don't know.
Yeah. They did put out an environment trailer, like an environmental showcase, where they just kind of show off a lot of landscapes and like the insides of like towns and spaceships and stuff. So, we're getting a little bit more of a glimpse here. I think a lot of people are hoping that Star Ocean does what Tales does and revamp the series, take it in a completely different direction, and it be for the better. I mean, that's the goal, right? I mean, it's the 25th anniversary that they're celebrating. There hasn't been a good Star Ocean game in a little while. I don't want this game to be bad in any regard.
Yeah.
But for right now, it kind of, I don't know. I never really got into playing any of the Xenoblade Chronicles games.
Same.
And it kind of gives me that sort of open world anime aesthetic vibe.
Okay.
I just don't know exactly how I feel about it yet.
Right. That's fair. The more I think about it now, like I should play a little bit more Star Ocean games because I have the PS2 one downloaded on my PS4. I have the PS4 version. I already beat the not the PS4 version, the PS4 game, and I beat the PS3 one. So I think I'll go back and play the PS2 one. Which one was that? Star Ocean.
Oh, I don't know, man.
The PS2 one. PS2. Star Ocean PS2. Which one was that called?
I just know that whichever
Till the
one
End of Time. Okay.
Oh, To the End of Time. Yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm because this is just something that I like to do. If there's like a series of something, I typically tend to start with the earliest game.
Right. I believe the first two Star Ocean games are like connected, but then after that it's like their own things.
Sure. Yeah. And that's fine too. I like to see just kind of how the the writing sort of develops over time and the gameplay systems and the themes and all that.
Yeah.
So thankfully, at least First Departure, which is the first Star Ocean game, thankfully that one's been remastered and you can basically play, I'm pretty sure, First Departure like on any console right now. Like it's on PS4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PC, all that. So yeah, I might want to check those out eventually before I give. I don't know. With Tales, I have played a little bit of Tales of Arise fairly recently, and I really do enjoy it. That one, it was a little easier for me to just start that one and I don't know, sort of just kind of allow that game to do what it wants to do to me.
Yeah.
Whereas with Star Ocean, I have like no history, no background with any of them. You know, I'm a little more hesitant to just say, I trust you, brand new Star Ocean game. So
I get that.
Yeah. Next thing, moving away from Star Ocean, Shin Megami Tensei 5 just came out.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. This came out as it is currently a Nintendo Switch exclusive.
Okay.
Which I think some people have kind of issues with that. Anytime that something is exclusive to Nintendo Switch and it's not made by Nintendo, I think a lot of people get kind of frustrated because usually that means a lot of like hardware issues that come with it, like a lot of muddy textures and frame rate issues. Like I remember whenever Disgaea 6 came out as a Nintendo Switch exclusive, people were pissed off because it ran really bad.
Yeah, I know.
Like I've heard the game is fine, and like if you're a Disgaea fan, it's like, you know, people have been enjoying their time with it, but as a Switch exclusive, people are like, come on, the hardware, really?
Yeah, that's true. And I've been hearing things about how like literally not too long after that game came out, they already had sort of I guess fan surveys of what they thought about the game, and apparently they're literally after that they already started working on Disgaea 7 like right after that.
Oh man,
they're just like, fuck, we fucked up.
Yeah. So another, although that kind of brings me to my next piece of SMT5 news. People have been data mining the game, and they have already found that the game is listed for PC and PS4.
Oh shit. Okay.
So through people just looking at in-game files or whatever, yeah, I mean, it's I'm pretty sure we can expect to see it running on better hardware in the near future. So there you go. Yeah, SMT5, man, this is a game that I've been wanting to check out since they announced it a really long time ago. But at the same time, I was telling member of our Discord, Cujo, me and him were talking about it for a little bit, and because I started playing Shin Megami Tensei 4 on Twitch, I don't necessarily want to allow myself just to stop playing that game and then switch over to Shin Megami Tensei 5, you know?
Right.
So I think for me, I will at least wait until I finish SMT 4 before I start 5. But I hear it's awesome. I hear a lot of people are really enjoying this game.
Tight.
The next two games are... I'll talk about this one first. There was a trailer that came out for a game called Lies of P, and I sent you the trailer for this one. This is an indie developed video game.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's an indie developed game that takes the kind of Soulsborne concept, but the aesthetic, like all of it, is a like you play as Pinocchio.
Yeah.
This is a very like grim, dark, like retelling of the story of Pinocchio. Or if it's not like a retelling, it at least takes place in the same sort of like world that Pinocchio does, and it uses a lot of the same characters and I guess mythos. The same fiction of Pinocchio.
That's cool. Okay.
But I'm very much into it. It gives me a lot of Bloodborne vibes, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. It looks very, very cool. I like the aesthetic of it. I don't know if I'd get it as soon as it came out, but I'd keep my eye on it. Yeah, but speaking of Bloodborne, though, have you heard about the fan demake that someone's working on?
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, and they're like, I'm pretty sure they released it for free. I don't know if it's already out or it's coming out, but I'm pretty sure.
It's coming out like early next year.
Okay, cool.
For those that don't know, apparently some fan who really loved Bloodborne decided to demake the game as like a PS1 version of Bloodborne, and it looks like a faithful PS1 game. It looks great. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's one that I'll definitely have to check out. I'll probably end up beating that before I beat the original Bloodborne.
That's fair.
Yeah, but since we're on kind of the that From Software sort of topic, bro.
Oh yes,
dude, yes. Elden Ring, bro.
Oh yes.
I think this is going to be one of my favorite games.
Honestly, I don't blame you. It looks fantastic.
I just watched a 30-minute video, or it's a 25-minute video from a YouTuber named Iron Pineapple, and he says, "I played Elden Ring for 30 hours. My thoughts."
Jesus.
And he opens up by essentially saying this game is fucking phenomenal. And dude, from everything that I've seen about this game, this seriously looks like it's going to be one of the most fun video games I'll ever play.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, and just kind of because I've been on such a huge like fantasy kick as of recently. I've definitely talked about it on the podcast before, but if anyone's just tuning into this one, basically I've been spending a lot of my time at work listening to a lot of audiobooks. So I went through Lord of the Rings as of recently. I am currently going through Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere stories. The Wheel of Time television show is about to come out, and I'm about to start reading through the Wheel of Time. And not spoiler alert, but here's a little taste. Basically, I have another sort of podcasting idea that has to do with actual book reading in the near future, but there's a little taste of that. Anyways, I've just been so into consuming fantasy media. And I know George R.R. Martin, the author of the A Song of Ice and Fire books, like the Game of Thrones books, he is, sort of behind a lot of the world building of this game. So that gets me really pumped, and everything that I've seen about this game. I've seen some people say that like they were expecting this game to look better graphically. Dude, this game looks fucking gorgeous.
It does. Yeah. No, it does.
Like, it looks so good. Like, it seriously looks like, oh my god. Like,
yeah, it's just very vibrant. There's a lot going on. Like, everything about it just looks great.
And even with how vibrant it is, like, even that is like a step in a different direction from a lot of Dark Souls stuff.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and just like, you got a jump button now.
Have a horse.
You got a horse that can double jump, bro.
Yeah.
It's taking like some of the best aspects of Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 and putting it here, like...
Yeah, my thing is like, yeah, it's definitely more open world. Definitely there's a lot more to do. And also, like, it's cool because normally boss fights is like very staged in the sense of like you go through this, foggy wall. But like bosses can just happen as you're just roaming around the world. And it's like, oh, shit, that's cool. And also, like, the magic system in this game looks way more interesting and more creative than the magic in all other Souls games. Other Souls games is very more generic sort of magic, but in Elden Ring, like, it looks fucking really cool. Like, there's a lot of like really interesting stuff, and the fact that how they talk about how like you can get different magic for every like boss that you kill, you can equip it to yourself. Like, that's really fucking cool. I like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, dude. Just kind of while we're talking about this, I've just been kind of watching this guy's gameplay, going through it and stuff. Like, I was kind of like on the fence at first whenever I saw that there would be like horseback combat, just because that's not something that I've ever been used to doing in any video game.
Same.
But how he described how it feels and just watching him do it, oh my gosh, dude, this looks so fucking fun, man.
Yeah, it does.
He had mentioned too the stamina bar. You can run forever. The stamina bar disappears whenever you're out of combat.
Oh, okay, tight.
So if you're a fan of Dragon's Dogma, you might cum your pants a little bit after hearing that.
Yes. Jesus.
Yeah. So, dude, like, I am just I am floored by how this game looks, man. I don't just want to hype myself up for my expectations to fall hard, but yeah, the magic systems, like all of the aesthetics that I'm seeing in this game, like wow.
Also, I'm definitely glad that you can actually customize your character. Like at first, I thought it's just what they had there was like what you have, because that's pretty much what Sekiro is that like, because Sekiro's more a story-driven game, so like that character has like a name and stuff like that. I can't really change him. So I'm glad that in this game you can actually customize your character and stuff like that. Yeah, which is cool.
The guy who was, talking about the game too, he had mentioned, just the idea of a brand new open world game of this genre, and I think for so long, so many people have been burnt out with a lot of different open world stuff.
Yeah.
I still if an open world game is good enough, dude, like I really don't have too much of an issue with open world video games. Yeah. But all of the criticisms that I do hear from people, I completely understand those. And he had mentioned too, like, oh man, I was so worried. Like, are they just gonna do what every other game does, where it's just like, a lot of empty space, or like whenever the space is filled, it's a lot of repetitive, areas and repetitive enemies and stuff like that. He said based off of what he played, every single thing that he's come across has been very unique from everything else that he will come across in the game. And
fuck yeah,
I don't know, dude. I am just okay. We got to move on. I am so fucking excited for Elden Ring, dude.
Yeah. TLDR, looking forward to Elden Ring.
Yeah. But also, one of the other things too is it also got delayed, and I think we discussed that for a little bit last episode. Yeah, just like barely. Okay. I think it's coming out in January now. I could be wrong.
Oh no, it's February. It's February.
February. Yeah. It's 1 week apart from Horizon 2.
Oh god damn it!
I know, dude. I know. Honestly though, like, look, dude, I love Horizon, but realistically, if I had to buy just one of these games, from what I've seen so far, I'm leaning more towards Elden Ring at this point.
Yeah, no, honestly, same. As much as I enjoyed Horizon, I'm looking forward to the sequel. Yeah, I'd probably do the Elden Ring first.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, none of that really matters to me, because I want to play these games on the best possible hardware that I can play them on.
Right.
And, unless my wife just fucking is like, boom, surprise, happy birthday, Jesus. I got Gavin a PS5 for Christmas. And then I'm like, oh, well, there we go. But that's the only way that I will be able to play these games on launch, is if I have a PlayStation 5. And if that's not happening, I ain't playing it until I can.
Yeah.
Last little bit of news here. I mentioned it to you before we started recording. Today, Microsoft held their 20th anniversary. They had like it wasn't necessarily like a games showcase, really. It was really just a celebratory event that they live streamed. And of course, The Rock was there, because why not?
Why yeah.
I think his big role was just kind of, well, he helped kind of unveil the original Xbox back into like 2001 or whatever. So I think that was his reason for being there. But they got the celebrity cameos and stuff. There were a few pretty cool things that they announced, one of which is a brand new Halo TV show coming to Paramount Plus.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is it like live action?
They just posted a little teaser.
Oh, just a teaser. Okay, so no.
So, they showed like a person, but at the same time, they have so much money, they could pour that into making a CG trailer that looks like real life, and you wouldn't even know the difference,
Right.
Yeah. So, there's really not any, as far as I'm aware, there's not any indication whether or not it's live action or 3D animated or not, but it looks like it's leaning towards live action. I don't know.
Okay.
I've never been incredibly into Halo, but now that
I've hardly been around Xboxes, so
Yeah.
I have very little experience with Halo.
as someone who has a computer, the thing about me and Microsoft, like I don't necessarily have anything against like Microsoft published games.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason at all to ever buy an Xbox. Because they release everything first party on PC as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have a computer, so I'm like, well, you know, I even have Xbox Game Pass, which is like you got like fucking dozens and dozens of video games that are all, you know, you can play them all on your Xbox One or Xbox Series S or X or whatever. But if you have a PC, you can download all of them, and it's not streaming. Like you download them onto your computer and you can play them through there. So you know, I've kind of dabbled a little bit recently into the first Halo game, just because they have every Halo game on Xbox Game Pass. So, you know, maybe one of these days I'll get myself through the story so that I can experience, you know, the new Halo game. But that's really the only thing that I'm interested in, you know, the story aspect of it.
Yeah.
Other than that, first-person shooters just aren't necessarily my thing.
Same.
But, you know, figured we might as well mention that there was an Xbox event. Xbox has turned 20 years old. Yeah.
Nice.
So, one thing, though, that they also said, though, was that... sorry, I feel like I'm stuttering so much. My brain is so mush right now.
Nah, you're fine.
They announced a shit ton of games that are now backwards compatible on the newest Xbox. And along with those games come with performance boosts and higher resolutions and higher frame rates. Some of the games that are getting huge performance boosts are Final Fantasy 13 and 13-2 and Lightning Returns.
Oh.
Yeah, so like I guess other than the PC versions of these games, if you have a new Xbox and you have those original discs, you can put them into your new Xbox and basically play the remastered versions of the 13 series.
Oh, hell yeah.
As well as the like 2010 Nier game.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So if you're a Papa Nier stan, you can basically play Nier Replicant, but with Papa Nier.
Hell yeah. Papa boy.
But yeah, that's gonna go ahead and that'll do it for the news. We had a pretty beefy news section this week.
Beefy news.
Yeah. But I guess before we move on to like question of the week stuff, was there anything else that happened within the last month that might be worth noting from you?
Not that I can remember, no. Not really. Nothing
Nice.
stood out.
Cool. Okay, well then, since we're done with news, let's go ahead and do question of the week.
Let's do it.
We gotta like get a theme song. Any producers out there who just want to, from the generosity of their heart, want to just compose a question of the week theme song for us, hit us up.
Hit us up.
Question of the week that we did last month, last episode, was suggested by you, DJ.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and ask what that question was.
Sure.
Gotta pull it up.
Okay, there we go. Question of the week. What is a game/series that you have not gotten into yet, but you really want to?
Oh, come on, bro. It was one sentence.
I'm sorry. I'm new to this. It's been a month.
Since you've talked?
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, what is a game/series that you have not gotten into but really want to?
Okay. Great question. Hailfront in our Discord, he's shout outs over there to the Loud Thumbs podcast. Hailfront hits us with a one-word response. And he just simply says Persona. Dude, hell yeah, Persona.
Yeah, I agree. I need to play more Persona games, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Cujo comes in, he says, for me, Fire Emblem. If I think of any others, I will add them. and he hasn't thought of any others. That's the only series that he wants to get into, apparently. One Pin Tones comes in with The Legend of Heroes, hopefully from the beginning. There you go. That's a good one. Tyler Rims comes in with Shin Megami Tensei. I've only dabbled in a few of them, but never beaten any of them. Probably because I don't like playing on my on my DS. Shin Megami Tensei 3 is fun, though, so I hope to get through more of that, and I'm excited for 5.
Nice.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, so that was everyone's response to question of the week for our last episode. If you guys have any sort of answers for any of our questions of the week, feel free to join our Discord or comment them on YouTube or email us, whatever. But DJ, do you have a answer?
Sort of, yeah. I actually had to just look up on a Wikipedia what are some JRPG franchises. So I got a couple now that I look at this list. So
hold on, bro. You're telling me that you're a co-host on an RPG podcast and you had to Wikipedia search JRPG franchises?
Yeah.
Great.
I just gotta make
job,
sure
bro.
you really look at my whole list. Just make sure that I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of series out there.
So now that I look at it, I kind of want to get more into Monster Hunter because I played a little bit of them, but haven't really dabbled too much into it. But I like the ones that I played, and I want to get more into it. Yeah. The Tales series. Now that I know that Shin Megami Tensei is sort of like what I'm into, the whole capturing, battle, and raising monsters and stuff like that.
Right.
I was like, I'm down for that. What else? Persona, like mentioned earlier. Definitely want to get a little bit more into Fire Emblem. I mean, right now, me and Cole, we've been playing Fire Emblem 3 Houses. That's like the main Fire Emblem game that I've been playing.
Y'all have been playing that shit since it came out.
Yeah, no, we've been playing that for a while. But we're more than halfway done now.
There you go.
And then those are the main ones for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say those are the main ones for me.
Yeah.
What about you, Gavin?
Probably just Final Fantasy.
Yeah, honestly.
Never got into it, man.
Yeah, I don't think I want to be honest.
Yeah. It's kind of cringe, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of cringe.
For me,
especially 4.
I think everyone's answers in here are like I think I had told you this earlier, but yeah, Persona, I want to eventually play all of the Persona games,
Yeah, definitely.
Not even just Persona 2, but just like games in the Shin Megami Tensei series. Like I've started playing Shin Megami Tensei 4 on stream, but I'm not deep into it yet. I want to be deep in there. I want to know why the fans are fucking crazy over these games. No offense, Cujo. Yeah, what's funny was Cujo joined our Discord after he just was, I guess, looking at who was streaming Shin Megami Tensei right after his stream, and he rated my stream with like an audience of like 7 or 8 people, and it was like my first or second episode, or it was my first episode doing Shin Megami Tensei 4, and that's how me and him kind of got communicating with one another, and he's been a help for helping me learn Discord and stuff, and learn Twitch and all that. So grateful for that guy. He's one of the more diehard SMT fans that I know.
Nice.
So any questions I ever have about Shin Megami Tensei, I go to Cujo.
Fuck yeah.
But One Pin Tones mentioned The Legend of Heroes. I remember a long time ago, I had mentioned to you that I was playing Trails in the Sky for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. And I was saying, it had like this sort of adopted brother and sister relationship kind of thing going on there. And, it's not everyone's taste, but,
right.
but, that the whole series, like just the whole series as a whole, kind of has a very like MCU, I guess, I don't know, that feeling of later on, like you're rewarded for getting references from games that you don't quite think are in the same series, but they really are, and like there's like crossover stuff. That is that is definitely a series that I want to get into.
Hell yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything here though that was not mentioned. I mean, I sure I'd like to get into Fire Emblem, but at the same time, I think I'm more interested in a game series like Persona or Legend of Heroes.
Fair enough. I actually just remembered two more. For
yeah,
me.
Go ahead.
Is the Yakuza series, because I haven't played like any of those games, and they look fucking awesome. I know you talked about it a lot. Like, they look great, and I definitely want to get into that. And also, I want to. I mean, I beat in the first one. I'm almost done with the old first one, but the Doc Hack series, I want to get more into that. Because I'm close to beating the very first one, Dot Hack Infection. I just need to grind for the final boss. And I already beat the GU series, the first one in that, but honestly, I should replay that game because realistically, I was not at all paying attention to the story. I was just plowing through the game. And I should replay that game and beat it before I play the next games in that series. But yeah, those two, Yakuza and Dot Hack.
Sure, yeah. You brought something, you said something in there that made me think of something that once we're done with Question of the Week, I want to discuss something a little bit more pointed. It won't take up too much time, but
okay.
I thought of something while you were talking about that.
Sure.
Yeah, Dot Hack, dude, that definitely, I want to get into that. And Yakuza, like you said, like you said too, I have talked about it, but at the same time, I really am not into it yet. I want to be into it so badly. Yeah, good stuff, guys. Thank you everyone again for that. We actually do have a suggested question of the week from the boy himself, Kujo.
The man,
the Shin Megami Tensei boy. All right, Kujo, also, and if you go ahead and join our Discord, for everyone listening, there is a channel in here where you can just, if you have questions that you want to hear asked on the show, you can type it in there, or if you want to ask them like on Twitter or whatever, or type them into YouTube comments or email them over at the email. Yeah, if you want to hear your voice heard, DJ, I don't know if you knew this, but did you know that the one sound that most people of the world like to hear most is the sound of their own name?
Oh,
yeah.
I feel like I've heard that around somewhere, but okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So, Kujo. If you want your name said by me and DJ, go ahead and just fucking say something, I guess, and we'll say your name. Could you imagine,
like, we get so big that the entire podcast is just dedicated to us just saying people's names?
Just people's names. That will later be a Patreon perk.
Yeah.
Okay. New question of the week, as suggested by Kujo in our Discord. He asks, if you could erase your memory of any game just to get to experience it again, what game would you choose and why? The and why is the big one here, guys.
Yeah, the kicker.
That's the kicker. I love hearing all of your answers, but guys, Hailfront, love that one-word response, bro. Love it. I eat that shit up for breakfast, bro. Respect it. Tell me why you want to play Persona, bro.
Come on.
Yeah. So yes, if you could erase your memory just so that you could experience a game again, what game would it be and why? That's a great question.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, honestly, I've thought about that for like anime and movies, but I never thought about that with video games.
Yes.
So this will be interesting to think about.
I have a few answers running through my mind, but that will be for next week, or next episode, I should say. So yeah, thank you again, Kujo, for submitting that question.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, guys, y'all can answer questions and y'all can submit questions in our Discord, YouTube, all that, blah blah blah.
Yes.
Good shit.
Yes.
Okay, we got about 10 more minutes left. At least, if we want to keep this at an hour. You mentioned, I know for you, a big, one of the kingpins of the gaming aspect for you is gameplay.
Yeah.
Of course, I love me some games as well that have no story at all. They're just good fun. I love playing just fun games. RPGs in general are fairly well known for a lot of negative aspects in gaming. I think a lot of people are turned off by a lot of different types of RPG styles. You have the more well accepted things like action RPGs. Things like Dark Souls. I guess that's technically an action RPG.
Yes.
Breath of the Wild, even you could say that's an action adventure RPG. You have other genres as well, such as turn-based RPGs. But when it comes to a lot of them, I feel like the whole idea of playing an RPG is so that you can sort of take control of a character who you decide sort of how they play and their stats and their armor and their name even sometimes. And so for a lot of that, not every RPG is necessarily linear. You have lots of games that go in different branches and stuff. But for a lot of the linear RPGs, there is an issue. Some might say this is an issue. This is kind of why I wanted to bring this up to you. I want to know how you feel about grinding. I feel like there are lots of games that we play that are either linear or non-linear, but sometimes whenever we play a linear game, like say Final Fantasy for instance, there are plenty of situations where you could play a linear game like that and not have to grind much at all. And then there comes a certain point where you realize, ooh, I'm not at the level that I need to be. So instead of just continuing that linear progression, you have to go back and you got to run around and you got to fight enemies and you got to do that for a while. Sometimes it can be kind of therapeutic. Sometimes it can be really aggravating. I just kind of want to know what your stance is on grinding in video games.
As I've gotten older and the more games I've played, I started to hate grinding more personally. And I think it really just depends on how the game handles it in terms of A, how fun the gameplay is to grind, just in general, just playing the game, and B, I guess, how much you need to grind and how often you would need to do it too.
Yeah.
Because there's some games where it's just like you can't just play the game normally and then you'll be fine. Like some games you have to like literally stop what you're doing and spend like an extra 3 to 5 hours just trying to level up before you can move on with the game, which I'm not really a big fan on, because sometimes when I'm just like, I just want to continue. I don't want to keep doing the exact same thing, like that's just boring to me. But it also just depends on the gameplay too. Like trying to think, for example, like I mean normal Final Fantasy games like 1 through 3, like I would hate to grind in those games just because like it's very just simplistic, and I don't know, something about it, it's hard to describe, but something about it's just kind of boring to me. I guess the way that the game presents itself, those games present themselves, like I would not be down to grind. But more action RPGs and stuff like that, where like you're sort of moving around and have to like think of all these different things. You're not just like standing around pressing one button. Well, I mean you are, but I don't know. So I guess where I have to more think about what I'm doing, it makes grinding seem less like a chore, I guess.
Yeah.
Another game too, like where you don't necessarily need to grind, is White Knight Chronicles, because literally I would play that game and not need to grind until like the final boss. Like I would just play the game normally, and then, which I mean, I guess to some people I can understand why that's a pain in the ass to like. There should be no grinding at all if they're going to be like that. But it's cool that I didn't really even worry about it. I just play the game and you're good. But yeah, I don't know. Over time I've started to not like grinding as much, but I guess for me it just depends on like how they handle it in terms of just like how much experience do you get per enemy that you kill and stuff like that. And how fun is the game in general to like where, grinding won't be feel like a chore, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just depends on the game.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man, cuz if the gameplay is like really like hard to get through, like if it's a game where, like for me, I like to get through a lot of stories. So whenever if I'm just trying to experience the story of a game, it can become very hard for me to I don't know, like if the gameplay is just really slow and I end up having to grind a lot, that can completely turn off my desire to continue playing the game.
Perfect example, now that I think about it, Pokemon Pearl.
I was going to bring up Pokemon earlier.
Yeah. Pokemon is fun, but holy shit, the early games, especially Pokemon Pearl, like Pearl and Diamond, the DS versions are known for being extremely slow. Yeah. And you really feel it when you have to grind for the Elite Four. Like playing the game normally, it's like, okay, it's fine, it's whatever. But then after that, you have to grind it like, oh my God, that is such a chore. You get so little experience per the fights that you got to do to grind, and you got to be up so many levels, and the fights take way longer than they should. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, that's definitely a game that like I hate grinding.
Dude, so I think another important aspect to, I guess, determining how well a game does, just gaining levels and grinding and that sort of thing. I think depending on the system, that also plays a huge part in it. Yeah. Because if you're playing on your television,
oh God,
that is, that's taking up all of your screen attention.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe you're playing a game like Pokemon or a handheld Final Fantasy or like Bravely Default or something, or even like something more complex in the gameplay style like Octopath Traveler, you can play those games and not even look at your thing and just kind of gain levels and stuff. And sometimes for me, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Just kind of walking around and then kind of having that feeling of like, cool, I'm like enjoying something on TV while also making progress for my characters and my video game. I feel like with stuff like that, it's harder to hold the attention of someone, I think, if you have to play on your TV.
That's true. Now that I think about it, there's two games that, like, in my opinion, sort of do a decent way of getting around the boring aspect of grinding is like Disgaea series in general, especially the later games, and also Shadow Hearts from the New World. So with Shadow Hearts from the New World, I did have to grind mainly because to get the stuff that I needed to, get the good ending, which ultimately I did not.
Yeah.
But what I appreciated what they did was all of it was just a bunch of like side quests for the different characters in the game. So like each character has like their own sort of side quest missions that you have to do. And so with each character, it's sort of like a little bit different where like, with this character, you got to do this, but this character, you got to do this instead. So like it makes it a little bit more unique and like not just 100% the exact same bull crap every time. And with Disgaea, what they do is that there's a shit ton of levels in that game. And so what they do is they just have this thing called like a cheat shop to where you can increase the amount of experience you can get per fight. So it makes leveling up a lot faster in that game, especially the newer games.
Yep.
So it makes it a little bit better. Like literally you could just like go through the early levels, make the characters in those, the enemies in those like super high level, just grind those for a long time and you'll level up.
Nice, man. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's another reason why I love just a lot of these games where there is leveling up in general. Games like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, stuff like that, where whenever you level up, there's like something that comes up on the screen. There's a sound effect that plays or something. It gets that dopamine sort of rush, and you're just like, levels.
That's true.
Yeah. So sometimes it absolutely is a fucking slog to just like be playing the game and just repeating the things over and over again and then finally like getting a level. But I think whenever you do play a game like that and you do finally get a level, isn't it just the worst if like it's nothing special whenever you gain a level.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I can't remember what game it was. I played a game where the gameplay was not very fun at all. It took a long time to level up. And I didn't even know that I leveled up until I just looked in my menu and saw that the number went up one. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That is so boring. I'm done. Like, not even worth remembering the name of that game.
Yeah. Honestly, now I think about it, like, Breath of the Wild does a good job of, like, sort of making you feel, I guess, that reward system of getting better through the game. Accomplishments. Because, like, there's no levels in Breath of the Wild, but, like,
sure.
As you go through the game, you gain more hearts, so now you can last longer. The stamina bar is like, holy shit, like that's so satisfying to like have more stamina, be able to run longer, or to climb these giant ass rocks, and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's like you find yourself just naturally getting better at the game. It'll throw things at you, and then like you're like, okay, cool. I've been doing this for a while. I got to get, I've been practicing like fighting other enemies. Like I'm gonna take down that bigger guy, and then you kill him, and then he drops some like really powerful weapon for you to use or something.
Fuck it.
And it's like, cool. That's your level up right there. Is you accomplished the bad guy, and now you got his sword. There you go.
Definitely.
But yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm sure there's more that we can sort of discuss on the topic of just kind of grinding, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure if I really took the time to really flesh out some questions over grinding, like I'm sure we could talk for a while about this. But I figured since we had some time, I was sort of thinking about level design and other kinds of RPGs and how you sort of get through a lot of them. And whenever you had mentioned dot hack, I know that you can definitely get through a grinding slog in some of those dot hack games.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. So, that's the main issue with the dot hack infection for the PS2 is that like the final boss is such a huge like what's the word when like there's over level, I guess.
Yeah.
Like there's such a huge level gap with my characters now and the final boss. I gotta grind so much in order to be able to fight him, and it's ridiculous.
Damn, dude. Well, okay. I'm glad that we got to talk about that for a little bit. If anybody has any sort of, I don't know, something that either has to do with what we just now discussed or something completely different, like I'm open to having a discussion pretty much about anything. That it doesn't even necessarily have to be something that's specifically RPG centric. I just like talking about video games. Yeah, I just like talking about video games. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening to this one. I think we'll go ahead and just cut it off here. Right. I think we forgot to do this last week, but DJ, do you have anything that you want to plug?
Sure. So,
let them know where they can find you.
Right. I have my own personal channel called Mushroom Man. It is primarily a comedic review channel where I talk about and make fun of different anime, movies, and video games. I also have my own podcast called the Ramen Stand Podcast. It is an anime podcast where, as the name suggests, we just talk about anime and shit.
Yes, sir.
And that's pretty much it with those.
There you go.
Yeah. What about you, bro. No, bro. I was gonna say, Brandon. Do you have anything you want to say? Oh yeah, DJ. Make sure you check out Gavin's Twitch channel, twitch.tv/gavdod. It's so good. Oh yeah. All right, cool. Later, Brandon. I'll see you later.
Later, Brandon. Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah, what a good man. Just
love that
your
guy.
Shit.
I'm glad that he could appear in the podcast for a little bit. I've been trying to figure out how to get him on for so long. Man. Anyways, that's it. No, like DJ had said, I've been doing Twitch streaming. Like I mentioned at the very beginning of the episode, I've been playing Senua's Sacrifice. Probably going to finish that within the next couple of streams. And then I'll probably hop back onto Shin Megami Tensei 4 or something. But yeah, I've been playing video games over there, twitch.tv/gavdod. You can email Overleveled over at, that is overleveledpodcast@gmail.com. By the way, everything that we're plugging right here, you'll find in the description box, at least in our YouTube channel.
Yes.
So yeah, one other thing too that I've been considering, just kind of maybe as a way to maybe increase some viewership and maybe give back to our lovely listeners. I would like to set up some type of giveaway it'll come out of my pocket, of course. I won't set it up right here at the end of this episode. If once we do some sort of giveaway thing, I will make that very clear at the beginning of the episode because that's how people hear about shit like that.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be something like, $20 gift card to whatever platform of your choosing or something like that.
Type.
But yeah, other than the email and Twitch, you can follow me also over at, it is at overleveledcast on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then obviously we have the YouTube version along with the audio version only. So follow us on Spotify, subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're a YouTube viewer, hello, here I am.
Hello.
I've been doing face cams recently, on my end of the things as well. So, and you can also see beautiful artwork of DJ. So, and then let's see. Also, Apple Podcast guys. I've seen that we have 2 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who put those there, but there's no comment on either of them. So, guys, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That is how people continue to hear about us, at least on the Apple platform. I also was recently a guest on another podcast.
Yeah.
DJ, let me know earlier that he got a chance to listen to that one, so that means a lot.
No problem.
Yeah, whoa. Oh, never mind. I clicked something in my Streamlabs recording my face, and then the chat box came up like I was live streaming on Twitch right now. And I'm like, I don't want to live stream right now. No. Anyways, I was on the Loud Thumbs podcast. They have a segment that they do called The Movie Reel. We talked about the new Dune movie. So go check out that episode. Go give them a follow as well. They're good boys.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much going to do it. DJ.
Uh-huh.
Hit him with it.
All right, boys and girls. The next time you listen to the Overleveled podcast, you're going to be 2 feet taller.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. So look forward to that.
Yeah. Well, cool.
Yeah. All right, bye.
All right, bye.